Hey Brandy, my name's Steve. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Hey, I want to let you know just off the bat that I'm a student at Troy University, getting my licensed mental health counseling degree, my master's in licensed mental health counseling, and I'm under the supervision of Dr. Tammy Montgomery. And so, all that to be said is that what you and I talk about today, she and I might discuss some of the things that we talk about, but I will never use your name or your occupation or anything to kind of identify who you are. I'll change the name to protect the innocent, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so, but we may discuss some of the things, some of the issues that you may that are going on with your life. That way, I can have a better understanding to help you. She can help me, that I can help you. Is that good?
Yeah, that's
Great. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming in today and filling out the paperwork. And I know that coming into counseling can be a kind of a nervous time. And I do appreciate you coming in and filling out the paperwork and going through all that. That just kind of helps us kind of get an overview of who you are and kind of your background, and just really for us to get to know you. And so thank you for doing that. I do appreciate that.
okay.
Um, and so what you can expect as you come into counseling, what you can expect is we're going to talk, and you're just going to share why you're here. You're going to tell me why you're here, and we're just going to talk about some of those things that brought you to counseling, and why you think you might need counseling. And the sessions will generally last about 45 to 50 minutes,
Okay.
and then usually it's about once or twice a week, depending on you and where we go in the counseling session. But normally it's about once a week. And so that's kind of what you can expect just from that standpoint. And at the end of this counseling session, and then maybe next week as well, we're going to discuss just how comfortable you are working with me and how comfortable I am working with you, and see if there's a connection there that we can that we can continue forward with. Not very often, but sometimes I do have to refer a client to another counselor just because we're not connecting and we just don't really feel that connection. But I don't think that's going to be a problem with us. I believe that you and I will connect. I think we'll be able to kind of move forward and help you progress where you need to progress in your counseling and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Want to let you know that we do have a cancellation policy, that we do 24-hour notice for cancellation. That way, we're not stuck waiting on you to show up. We do understand that emergencies happen in life. Whether you get hurt, whether there's snow on the ground, whether there's accident, we know there's all sorts of things. But generally speaking, 24-hour cancellation policy is what we have here.
Okay.
And so, and then I talked to you about the connection that we have, and I do want to talk to you about our termination policy. Our termination policy is that if we're in counseling and you and I are, we get into it and you just think, you know what, this counseling is not for me, great. That's your right to just say, you know what, Steve, appreciate your time, but I'm good, or if I feel that after we've been doing this for a while and I've given you some goals and some things to accomplish, and you've come up with some goals on your own to accomplish, and because really primarily that's what we want to do, is help you come up with some goals that you can that help you make you a better person. And we just feel like that, and I feel like that's just not being accomplished. I have the right to terminate this as well. So just to say, hey, you know what, you're not keeping up your side, and does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good. And I do want to discuss confidentiality with you, because what you say in this room stays in this room, but there are some there's some confidentiality that has to be broken at certain times, and there's certain reasons why it has to be broken, and I'm going to go over those with you. One of those is consent. If you give me consent to share what we've talked about with somebody else, then I'll be able to share that. I can break the confidentiality with that. If I have to, if there's some disclosure of either child abuse or some kind of abuse going on, elder abuse, something like that, then I'll have to contact the proper authorities. But I'll do that with you as we walk through this together and make those phone calls, so I wouldn't leave you hanging on that. So we talk about that as we walk through that. And then also, if you communicate a threat, or someone communicating a threat, either wanting to kill somebody or possibly kill yourself or commit suicide, then we have to take action on that as well. And once again, we call the proper authorities, and we would walk you through that process. Are you having any kind of suicidal ideations right now? Have you thought about committing suicide or anything like that?
I have in the past. I've had some suicidal thoughts.
Suicidal thoughts, but as of right now, do you have any active thoughts of suicide or anything right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, great. Another confidentiality thing that I have to deal with is a court order. So if a court comes down and says, "Hey, I need your notes for Brandy and what you guys talked about," then I would have to comply with the court order. And know that it's not a lawyer. So if a lawyer calls up here and they say, "Hey, what?" I will not talk to anybody but a court order. So don't worry about, if lawyers, whatever reason, if you have any legal issues, that kind of thing, I won't disclose to a lawyer, but only a court order. And then the last thing is the insurance. That's how I get paid, and so they won't know our conversation, but there is a diagnosis that I have to put in, a code I have to put in with the insurance, and then that way they can pay. You won't have to pay as much, and they'll pay me for our sessions. So does that sound pretty good to you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then, as I told you before, I'm in supervision with Dr. Tammy Montgomery. That's how I started off with you, and just kind of once again, just to reiterate, I am in my supervision hours. So this is being recorded, and so she may see me, but I won't share this much. I won't share much with her, but she won't know your name, those kind of things.
Okay.
And so we're good on that. And then the financial responsibility also, I want to let you know our policy is that you obviously you're going to file your insurance. I think you gave your insurance card to our secretary out front.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, and she's going to run it through your insurance, and most insurances cover a counseling session or so many counseling sessions, but in the event that a counseling session is not covered for whatever reason by your insurance, you are responsible for paying for the sessions yourself, and also responsible for paying your copay.
Okay.
So that all, I know it's a lot to kind of just like, oh my gosh, but I understand it's a lot to go through, but it's something that we have to do with you in order to to move forward in the in the counseling. So if that's what if you're understanding that, then I just ask you to sign right here.
Okay.
Sign right there for me that you understand that. This is our intake form. Sign it. Great. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. And so that kind of gets us, in through our informal kind of getting to know you, all the legal things that we have to do,
Right.
So now we can really kind of get down to why are you here? What has brought you to here? And so tell me a little bit about yourself. Why are you here and what's going on and that kind of thing.
Okay. I'm married. I have 3 children. I have an older son. I have a daughter, the middle child's a daughter, and then the younger one's a daughter. I'm here because my daughter, she's experienced some trauma. She was molested as a younger child, and I've just had a really hard time dealing with that. Ever since that's happened, I've kind of lost myself. I haven't been able to be there present for my children. I was put on medication, so from taking the medication, I'm going to be honest, I have been overusing the medication, so it's pretty much made me a zombie, to be honest, and I just haven't been able to be in my life like I want to. I've lost my job. Like I say, I'm not there for my children. I don't get to go to the activities that I want to, like sports activities and stuff like that, because I'm struggling with depression and anxiety. And I just kind of got to a point where I know I need help and I need to get back to my regular life.
Got you. Yeah. So it sounds like there's a lot going on in your life right now, and it sounds like you want to be a part of your children's life, and go to the sporting events and stuff. But it just sounds like there's some things holding you back from that.
Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, tell me a little bit about you growing up. Tell me about your family life growing up, and your mom and dad and that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I have 5 siblings, and I'm the youngest of all the siblings. My family kind of grew up kind of poor. They were kind of like mostly doing farming type stuff. My dad was an alcoholic. He was in the military, but he was a heavy alcoholic. My mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, and so she helped us in the fields doing the farming, and she's the one that kind of had to mostly deal with my dad, and there wasn't any physical abuse, but there was kind of verbal abuse from my dad when he was drinking. we kind of had to like walk on needles, and we had to really like judge, or not judge, but we had to see like if it was okay for us to even come out or speak or be around him, depending on how much he's had to drink. And so with dealing with that, I lost a brother in his teenage years. He was killed by a tree. A tree fell. He was cutting a tree down. The tree fell over and hit him. And so I did have to lose. I dealt with the loss at a very young age from somebody that I was really close to. Currently, both my parents have passed away, so I really never got to get closure or, get any kind of apology from my dad or anything like that.
So tell me about that closure with your dad. Tell me about how you think that's kind of affecting you, not having that closure with your dad.
Okay, well, like I say, he was drunk the whole entire time through my childhood that I was growing up, and he wasn't there for me. And I just felt like if we could actually build a relationship that we didn't have whenever I was a childhood, that would be nice. But he actually passed away before we were able to do that.
How long ago did he pass away?
It's been he passed away right after, I would say around in my 20s, and I'm currently 36, so yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
Gotcha. And so, what I hear you saying is that, so growing up, you had there's one of 5 kids, and it was a farming house, correct?
Right.
Farming, and tell me, what did y'all farm? Just curious, what did y'all farm?
Just different stuff. We actually worked for a farmer. So like I say, we were poor, so we would go out and work for the farmer. Different stuff. I'm actually from Glenville, Georgia, around the Baldeo area, so mostly onions and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And did you have to work out in the fields yourself, and did you have to help contribute to the family?
I did, yes.
How did that?
So anything we made, any of us, like I say, there's 6 of us total. So anything we made had to go towards helping the family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, he was in the military, but he left out very early, and then he was a heavy alcoholic. So therefore, he couldn't keep a job mostly. So it was more like my mom and the kids' responsibility to keep the family going.
Gotcha. Well, tell me about your kids. Tell me about what your relationship with your kids is like.
Okay, my oldest is my son. He's 17 years old, and I was a very good mom to him. I was very present with him. And my middle child, she's my daughter. She is 12 years old, but when she was around 10, that's when she was molested. And so ever since that happened, I have just not been able to be there for her. My youngest, she's 5. So pretty much so far, most of her life, I have just not been able to be there. My husband has tried to step in and do as much as possible, but kids need their mother, especially the daughters. And I feel so guilty and so bad that I feel it was my responsibility that, I'm supposed to protect my child, and I allowed that to happen. She was with a family friend, and that family friend is the one that did it. So I take that guilt and that burden and responsibility, and there again, I feel guilt because I'm just not able to be present with my children and be there for them. Most of the time, like I say, I do admit that I over-medicate, and when I do, I just kind of go to my room and mostly sleep or just stay to myself.
Gotcha. Yeah. Tell me about that over medication. What is that about, you think?
I think I'm just trying to numb myself because it's just unbearable to carry that guilt and that pain and know that I wasn't there to protect my daughter or help her.
Right. I can definitely see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
And tell me how is your marriage? What's your relationship like with your husband?
It was great at first, and when all that happened with my middle child, he's a stronger person, so I don't know if he's just kind of kept it inside or if he was able to just handle it better. But and he tried to be there for me, but I think it's getting to a point where he just has to take on too much with him working and having to take care of the kids and take care of me too, because I'm not there like I'm supposed to, and it's put a strain on our relationship. Definitely.
Gotcha. Definitely. And tell me about your relationship with the with this friend of yours from the family. Tell me about how did you meet me? Tell me about that friendship up until the point
That incident happened. Okay, it was a family friend. It was actually me and the lady. We were really good friends. It was her husband. She had to just run to the store and go do some stuff, and so she left my daughter there with her husband. And while she was gone, that's why the incident took place. And my daughter didn't tell me for a while because she was scared and didn't know. And when she found, I noticed her behavior was off, and she was starting to act off. And so I approached her and asked her what was wrong, and she just broke down and crying and told me about the incident. And I spoke to my my friend, his wife, and she couldn't believe it, I guess. So I guess she more or less thought my daughter was lying, which I don't know why she would lie about something like that, right?
Gotcha. And so where did you meet this friend? Were you childhood friends? I mean, is this a school? Is this a friendship? A friend
Our families are friends.
Your families are friends.
Yes,
gotcha.
My mother and her mother. We've kind of always been. Our families have always been close.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. One of the things that I think in therapy that really helps is there's something that's called and it's what they call it's a way of counseling, and it's called the rational emotive behavior therapy. And really, it helps people in situations take a look at how they react to people, how they react to different incidents, and how they react to something that happened in their life, an adverse situation, kind of like with your daughter. And so, tell me what kind of legal issues have happened after that, or has there been any kind of closure on that incident?
Yes, we have. We went to the police and we did press charges, and like I say, my friend, we're no longer friends. She was pretty upset that the charges was pressed and all that, but yeah, we pressed charges, and we went to court, and he has been he's been legally held liable, so
right.
he is in jail right now.
He's in jail right now.
Yes.
So but your friend is still.
Yeah, she won't speak to me.
She won't speak to you, even though it was proven in court.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if she's just embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, through this rational emotive behavior therapy, it's something that we can look at to help. You can help yourself build some goals. So, what do you think? Why did you come to therapy? What are some of the reasons that you came here? What are you looking for?
Okay, my goals. I want to get back to my old life, so I wanted to rebuild the relationship with my children. I want to be able to be present there for them. I want to be able to back off of my medication. Like I said, I've been overusing, so I definitely need to back off just to a normal amount, and then hopefully the big goal of that is to not be on medication anymore.
Gotcha.
And I need to be a better wife, or be there for my husband and rebuild that relationship also.
And so, did you take that medication before for a certain reason, or was this just something you started abusing just out of the blue, or was it for something that an issue or an ailment you had before?
No. Whenever this happened with my daughter, I went to the hospital. I went to the doctor, and that's what the doctor prescribed me to help with my anxiety.
Gotcha. Well, hey, our time is about to draw to a close, but I do appreciate you sharing, and I think I learned a lot about you this week, and I think one of the goals that I want you to walk out of here this week is a couple simple steps that I want you to take this week. Is I want you to see if you desire the goal to back off of the medication. Let's see if we can do that. Let's take a step and let's back off. I'm not saying you have to stop off, but let's back off slowly, and let's continue to be present where we are. I know it's so easy to escape, but let's set a goal for you to back off the medication,
Okay.
and then try to be as present as you can and not escape. I know those feelings are still there, and we're going to work through some of those feelings in our next session. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much for coming in, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.